I mean, it just sounds like you found your person and we're like, we're going to do whatever it takes to make this work.
You weren't traumatized as a child? Let me just catch you up real quick. I'll traumatize you real quick.
Welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back. And welcome to our YouTube viewers if you're watching.
Yes, if you're watching, if you're listening, welcome. We're so happy to have you. And to everybody who signed up for the YouTube last week and subscribed, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We loved all your stories. So many people tagged us with their dogs at home, which I loved.
Oh my gosh, I know. People were like, I'm just watching for Azul. And I was like, whatever it takes.
Whatever you
more
need
Azul's
to do.
friend. Azul, can you come up here?
We're trying to get listeners, Azul.
I know. Come on, Azul. If people are here just for you, we don't want to disappoint them. Azul, come on.
Come here, cutie.
Here he comes. Oh my God. Oh.
You're being so cute.
I know. He's such a little sweetie.
So yeah, thank you for subscribing. Keep subscribing. It's YouTube, Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on YouTube, and we'll have lots of stuff up there for you guys.
Yeah, subscribe. So then it's easy to find because I could. Listen, I didn't subscribe until last week.
I'm not subscribed.
You have to subscribe.
I don't. Well, my YouTube on my phone is our account.
Right,
I'm in there using it.
Yes, you are the account. We're the account owner. Well, I'm not. So I was like, couldn't find it. So just guys, please subscribe. Just get in there and subscribe, and then it's gonna pull right up. You can watch it on your TV, watch it with your pets, pour a little glass of wine, take an edible, whatever you guys are
getting
into.
fucked up. You can make your HelloFresh and have your dinner and watch it, which brings us to our partners. Thank you so much. Thanks to HelloFresh for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Go to HelloFresh.com/GGE65 and use the code GGE65 for 65% off plus free shipping.
Yes, and thanks to Babbel for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to really learn a new language on the go. Right now, get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/GGE. Right? Is that right? That's a lot.
I'm scared. You scared me.
That's a lot off. And thanks to
Bella's out today. We can't.
Bella. When Bella's out, I wake up in a panic. Like I'm like, well, what's gonna happen today?
I know. I texted her last night, like, what's the last possible time we can speak tomorrow?
Okay. And thanks to Calm, the #1 mental wellness app for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Reduce stress and anxiety through guided meditations, improve focus with curated music tracks, and rest and recharge with Calm's imaginative sleep stories for children and adults. Calm is offering you an exclusive offer, 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/GGE.
Okay. Big day today. Well, you named it. So do you want to announce what we're doing today?
Yes. Today we are announcing our Snack City tour. Snack City, bitch. Snack City. We really wanted to do the Snack City tour, back in 2020. We had this song, we had a whole thing, and then the world.
We had merch.
We made a music video. And now we can't use it because it's our old faces. We made a music video. So we're bringing it back. We're so excited. Today we are just teasing it. It goes on sale next week.
Yes.
This is the 24th, whenever you're listening. So
yes. So we will tell you every city, everything goes on sale October 24th at 10 a.m. local time.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be able to buy tickets then. We broke this up into two. So if you don't hear your city right now, we are going to plan some stuff for the fall, of course, as well. So we'll tell you what those are. But I am over the moon, overjoyed. I miss touring so much. I miss being on stage with you so much. I can't wait to just hear our girls laugh.
I
and
know.
be with them. So without further ado, all of the dates and cities that you can expect right now on the Snack City tour in the first part of 2023.
Oh my God. Okay. February 3rd, Salt Lake City. Last time we were in Salt Lake City, I don't remember it. I was delirious. It was so fun. Remember I drank that drink off that person's table pre-COVID. We can't wait to get back there. February 4th, Denver. We fucking love Denver. February 16th, Phoenix. We are obsessed with Phoenix. March 3rd, Tampa, bitch. Oh.
Do you think the security guards at this venue will be as hot as the last one? We've been doing Tampa Improv for years.
March 3rd, Raina has one night only to fuck a security guard in Tampa. March 4th, we're heading to Orlando. Oh my gosh, those shows last time, they were so wild. All the Disney
All the
shows.
Disney stuff. And then I found photos since then of myself at Disney, so we're going to fire more of them up.
Okay, March 5th, Miami. I mean, our second home. And we're doing this really cool venue that's at the Fontainebleau. So that's going to be sick. March 18th, Sacramento for the very first time.
Yeah.
So excited.
I cannot wait. It's our first show there. We have a huge audience there. We can't wait.
I'm going to tell stories in all these.
We picked two to talk about. But.
So I was on a date with a guy from Miami, a stuffed animal guy, and I was visiting him in Miami, and he told me that the best pizza was in Sacramento. And I was like, what? I'm a New Yorker. What have you
ever had?
Listen, no shade to Sacramento, but we got in a fight and I had to go up and like cool off in the bathroom.
Is that why you left?
And he had taken me to this vegan restaurant because it was a comp.
I remember he was compy. This is how our friendship got built because we were like texting throughout this. I was like, wow, she's going to leave this date. This is crazy.
Okay. So anyway, I'm going to try the pizza in Sacramento. Can't wait to try this amazing pizza. And March 31st, Milwaukee for the first time. So excited. Never been there.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm going to love Wisconsin. We are coming to Minneapolis the next night, April 1st. You know, I'm a Minneapolis stan, Mayor of Minneapolis, honorary. And on the 15th, for the first time again, I get all the first timers. April 15th, New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, so we can't wait to see all you Yaleys. Maybe I'll find a boyfriend at Yale. Maybe a little grad student.
And the Raina's going to read all of our...
Yeah, when we're returning to a lot of these cities, but we are so excited. So May 6th, we will see you at the Chicago Theater. Chicago, best night of my life. I can't wait. May 12th, we will be in Philly.
Yes, go Birds.
We can't wait to be back there. May 13th, Washington, D.C. We will see you there. May 12th, Boston, the Wang Theater.
Wang.
Perfectly named for us.
Take your Wang out.
Yeah, bring a Wang.
Wait, what?
Bring a single Wang.
What would you say, like, sang out with your Wang out? Like, what would you, like, rang out?
You were like, hang out with your Wang out.
All right, so guys, come
sing out with your Wang out. Okay, and then the last we are taking our talents to Ohio for June. So 3 nights in a row. Cleveland, we will see you on June 9th.
6-9.
We will see you Columbus on June 10th, and Cincinnati. We are ending our run. Last show on June 11th, and then taking some time off for the summer. And we promise we did not forget about you, Texas, other places in California, Atlanta, Nashville. We will see you in the fall.
Yes. We know that we had postponed those. We tried to get them in this, and it wasn't working out because it is such a priority of ours. Obviously, Atlanta, Nashville, Charlotte. We love those cities so much. They're so near and dear to our hearts. So we promise that we will make it there in 2023. But I am doing a show in Atlanta. If you are interested, on November 13th, I'm so excited about this stand-up show. It's for the Red Clay Comedy Festival, and you can get tickets to that at ashhess.com. But so I'll be in Atlanta, and it's going to be really fun. And then I'll see you. We'll see you next year in Atlanta for Girls Gotta Eat. So we just want to let you guys know that we did try, and this is like the best that we could do, and we will be announcing it.
Yeah. If you've never been to a Girls Gotta Eat show, it is the wildest night. It's so much fun. We have dancers, we have strippers. We don't want to give everything away, but we can't wait to be there. It will be really fun. Have your birthday parties there. Come solo. Have a bachelorette party there. Bring your man.
We love couples, families. Bring your mom, bring your dad, bring your grandparents.
Yeah.
Bring your ex. We love people.
A lot of people brought their
last
exes.
year.
I thought Detroit, everybody brought their ex.
Detroit was the hottest gay men in the country. It's so under the radar.
Oh, we love Detroit. Ashley suggested taking a birthday trip there. Last year we did Greece, and this year we're going to Detroit for Ashley's birthday.
I really want to see Ed Sheeran in concert. I don't know if people know. I love Ed Sheeran so much. I never really talk about this. Everybody loves Ed Sheeran.
Everybody loves Ed Sheeran. It's not like a specific thing.
Yeah, but I was like, that's somebody I want to see on tour in 2023. So I was looking at dates. I've been wanting to just do a little weekend trip to Detroit.
We already pitched all of our friends. Where do Saint-Tropez is that? I thought we were going to go, but psych, guys, we're going to Detroit.
Can you imagine, guys? So I've been thinking, I just feel like Saint-Tropez. It's like, we don't need to,
here's how you sell it. Guys, I think everybody could save a little money. and we'll go to Detroit instead of France
to see Ed Sheeran.
to see Ed Sheeran.
You're like, what?
I mean, I feel like some of our friends really like
Yeah.
So that is where we'll be. We are really excited. You can get everything at girlsgotteatpodcast.com. And that's about it. Everything is on our site. We have tons of great merch. Every episode we've ever done and the live shows, everything is there.
Today we have Jade Iovine. We're so excited about this talk with her. It's a little heavier.
Yeah, it's a mental health episode, and we were so excited to do that. And, you know, we have so many therapists on do all these mental health episodes, and it's just nice to hear from somebody who's been on the other side of it, and that's really important to us to feature real stories from real people. And I was moved by so many of the things she said, and I think that you guys will hopefully relate to it and be moved by it. She was really, really wonderful and open.
Yeah, she is so great. And I wanted to just bring this up because we mentioned it in her episode and we haven't really said it here. I've said it randomly on like another podcast, but that Rain and I are moving temporarily to LA in January. On January 3rd, we are committed to being there for 3 months. And that's the plan.
Yeah, every time I tell somebody, I have to like backtrack a little bit. I'm like, we're not living together. Everybody assumes that we're gonna live together, but we are not. We have separate homes. I'm really excited. I've lived in New York for 15 years. I haven't really lived anywhere else in my adult life. I've never really wanted to, but I feel that the sun and the sand is calling me. So.
The sun and the sand. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys could have seen this coming. I mean, duh.
All we do is talk shit on New York. We love New York so much, and it's gonna make me love New York even more to leave a little bit. You know, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah, we love it there. We love recording with people there. I love doing comedy there, and we have friends, and it's just to get out of New York in the winter also. So we're gonna try this out, see how we feel. I am actually moving out of my apartment. I'm gonna put some stuff in storage. Raina is keeping her apartment, so I don't foresee a permanent move, but you know, you never know what could happen.
Yeah, I think that at this point, I mean, 5 years later, we have such a good relationship, like working relationship. And so I said to you privately, it would have scared me had you made this decision 3 years ago or something to like go to LA. But it doesn't, if you decide to stay in LA, like we'll figure it out, we'll make it work. I just don't think that's going to happen. But I feel really like excited and confident about it. We have so many fun guests already booked for LA that we're working on and so many people that we can record with. And I just can't wait. You know, I think that any new city can feel really lonely. And I've never wanted to move to a new one because I didn't really have a big group of friends in another city, but you have such a big group of friends in LA. They're more your friends, but they've all become my friends, and I'm just excited to go there. I feel really happy when we're there.
I know, I'm really excited. So anyway, that's
our
update on our lives.
Yeah. So little just update from last week. Thank you guys. We really loved that foreplay episode. And I hope that you bought the lingerie and the beard oil. Oh
my God.
A bunch of people DM me to ask me what the scent was. It's Speakeasy. So that's the scent of a beard oil.
You need to be on commission with them. You need to get an affiliate link for that, right?
Victoria's Secret too. That bondage teddy. So many girls were like, I bought it. I've been thinking about it. And then we just wanted to like sort of add a little bit into the foreplay discussion that you had brought up.
Well, first of all, I will say, and I got DMs about this. I got multiple DMs about this. You know what? Let me read you one. I think it's the funniest episode we've ever done. It's the hardest I've laughed. Listening back, the boxer conversation.
When you said that I brought in my YSL, it's the hardest I've laughed during an episode. You making fun of me for this beard oil?
It was, listen, I'm going on record. I think it's the funniest episode to me. In my personal opinion, last week's episode, which you could watch it on YouTube, you can see for yourself, is the funniest episode we've ever done.
We're just out here trying to make each other laugh. I mean, that's this whole show.
So this girl said, she DM'd, I went to the Girls Gotta Eat DMs last night. So if you got a response from me at 1 a.m,
well, if you got any response after 9 p.m.,
it was a good time. Okay, she says, listening to this week's episode and was finishing up in the car outside the gym, and I was laughing so hard with the stories at the end that I bent forward and honked the horn of my car with my forehead.
Okay, so she's my height. All I need to do is you could not honk the horn with your forehead
forward, laughing, and honk your horn. I can't handle it. And this girl says, this week's episode was the hardest I've ever laughed while listening. I've been an OG fan from the start. Cooking dinner, listening to you girls is a luxury in life. And I was in tears listening to the underwear conversation. I love you guys. I wrote, girl, me too.
I have watched that clip so many times. When you say I brought a clutch.
when you go, there's food here. When you said you walked back from the bathroom through the restaurant. It's also just funny because the whole time, and I did say it, I said Hillstone up top. So I'm picturing the walk from the bathroom at Hillstone. Like you and I both worked in restaurants. Like it was like the vision of it is so fucking funny to me.
And in my mind, it's boxer shorts. Like it's not briefs. It's like a big old pair of boxers.
Okay. We're going. Right. So I had said this thing and I said, like, we can talk about if you can fix a bad kisser, that I never circled back to it because we probably started talking about the beard oil, but, and going down that road. But I just wanted to say like a couple different things that we didn't get messages about like this. I just felt like we were a little remiss in talking about it. So my feeling on changing a bad kisser and also asking for more foreplay, we're going to talk about the two. So I think with kissing, I think some people are beyond hope. I truly do. I think, like I said, if you just have your mouth isn't right, your lips, whatever. I mean, whatever. You're born with the lips that you get. I don't know. If a guy has really skinny lips, maybe he should consider filler. Like, I'm not sure. But I think you start with trying to get someone to match your tempo. I think you don't have to say something outright. I think you start with like just trying to lead them and they'll follow with your own mouth. And with all of this stuff, I just cannot hammer it home enough, whether it's kissing, it's foreplay, whether it's how you want your partner to dress. It's just positive reinforcement. You don't get anywhere with criticizing someone, especially in a newer relationship right out of the gate, telling somebody something that they're doing wrong. Like positive reinforcement when they do something right, say like, oh, that turns me on. I like that so much. Oh, I love it when you go slow like this. I love it when you lick here. I love it when you do this. Can we just do more of this? Like all positive reinforcement. This isn't a hot take, but I am just reinforcing.
I mean, it's a hot take because like I would take the opportunity after sex to mention this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like the worst place to mention it is after somebody has done something that you don't like, to be like, hey, by the way, in that moment where you thought this was fun for me. I mean, that's why I don't believe in like faking orgasms, pretending like you like something that you don't like. Because I think that like we should give people positive reinforcement and don't pretend that we like things and don't tell somebody right after that you did something really bad.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think after a sexual experience, you can be like, I love when you touch me like that. I just want it to last forever. Like the more you can kind of encourage someone that you need more foreplay. And then I think that now we're moving into the foreplay discussion, but once you're in a relationship with somebody, it's fine to explain that to them. Like we always say, especially if we're just talking about male-female relationships, like men are going off what they did before. They think you want to be touched like their girlfriend before. Not all of them. A lot of men grow up and they realize that every woman's different. Every woman's body is different, but they just may not know. So I think you can say like, I just love making out with you. I love you touching me. I love touching you. All this stuff. I just need a little bit more so I can get like super ready for sex or whatever. If you are planning on having sex, like just sometimes explaining it in simple terms of like, I just need a little bit more of this to get like fully warmed up. I just want to fuck you so bad. Like all that kind of stuff is just, it can work. And that's kind of when you're in a relationship and you can just have these conversations. That's not insulting at all. I want more of what you're doing, just like more of it and longer. That's a compliment.
And I think that sexting is one of your biggest tools and such, like your friend, even if you're not an expert. I think that some people are like, I don't do that. I'm not comfortable with like sexting. I don't know. I know friends that are like, I would never do that. But I think that is your friend, and being able to text somebody and be like, this thing you did to me last night was so amazing. Like, just put it in writing. If you don't want to look somebody in the face, put it in writing. And I think that it's a sexy text and it will get you what you want. So it's two things that are great.
Yeah. And there's also a lot to be said for just simply like, I want to go slower, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
And how do I get somebody to do X, Y, Z more? I mean, your partner should be really excited by turning you on. It should get them hard. It should get them like their juices flowing. So like it will turn somebody on to be like, this turns me on. Yeah. Like that's why I like cum talk so much, because it's like a positive affirmation about what I'm doing.
Yes.
It's you get a good reaction. This liquid comes out, you know? Yeah. So I just like knowing that you're really turned on and that turns me on, and hopefully your partner feels like that too. And if your partner is a selfish lover, maybe leave them in the dust.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about hair for a moment.
Yeah. I've had a hair journey. You have amazing hair, but I have not always had amazing hair.
I mean, so I love my hair, but it is thinner than it used to be. I mean, I would just like it to be thicker, and it does just get thinner as you age, the more you heat style it and things like that. So that's why I take Nutrafol. I work on this, and I want it to be thicker.
And I like talking about this stuff and normalizing it. And naturally, over half of women will experience hair thinning in their lifetime. So a lot of people, I don't think it's talked about a ton. And many people suffer sort of silently because of this. And Nutrafol wants all women to know that hair thinning is normal and you are not alone. And they are looking to normalize female hair struggles through shedding the silence. So this is their platform where people are sharing their stories. So I'll just kind of like share mine. And I, in high school, started to like really hammer my hair with hot tools a lot. And I was starting to experience a lot of feelings and thoughts about my body and not eating as much as maybe I used to and things like that. And so it just, everything affects your hair. And so I had to wear my hair in like a ponytail for like a full year to try to grow it all back. And it made me feel like just so bad about myself, not as confident with boys. And you already feel so many things about yourself growing up. And you're like, not gonna deal with my hair problems. And then it got better and healthier, but it's thinned throughout my life. And there was never anything to like make my hair grow better. I just thought like, well, this is the hand that I was dealt. This is how it's going to be. And it always made me feel really insecure because on dates, I wanted to feel really confident. I wanted to feel like I don't have to think about the way that I look. So it was a struggle. And I think it's just important to normalize, like lots of people struggle from this and think about this and that there are kind of solutions out there in terms of like managing shedding.
Yeah. And I think that no, we're not like defined by our hair or our looks or anything. But if you do care about it, it's not vain or it's not weird that you're like, this is really important to me.
I mean, also not the hottest take in the world, but you look on social media and you're like, everybody has this long flowing hair. A lot of people have extensions and extensions are expensitive. So a lot of people don't want to walk around with sewn in extensions, but all these people that you see in Hollywood with these great heads of hair, like it's fake.
So much of it is just wigs. You watch the Kardashians and they have every scene different hair. So it's not their natural hair.
Yeah.
I feel like this is something also that you like learn as you get older. Like that's not real.
Right. None of this is real.
Yeah.
So if you want just a solution for these things, maybe look into taking something and talking about it more and realizing that everything that you see on the internet is fake. No, I'm just kidding. Half kidding. So let's talk about it more. Your hair story can help another woman. Join the conversation with shedthesilence.com/GGE. And that is shedthesilence.com/GGE.
Okay, and I am going to tell you guys about Babbel. So we have talked about this at length that Rain and I just wish that we had a little more bilinguality. That's not a word.
Bilinguality?
But sure.
It sounds right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I regret not taking Spanish in school. I took French and I could use Spanish a lot more. I'm glad, listen, I'm glad I have a little French in my life, but I do wish that I did take Spanish. And so I have been dabbling in Babbel. So if you're like me and there's a foreign language you regret not learning in school, it's never too late to start with Babbel. It is the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions.
It's never too late to dabble in Babbel.
I just came up with that, you guys. Killing it. Which, listen, from two women that have an app to see 10 million subscriptions, I'm like, damn it. That's just incredible that 10 million people subscribe to Babbel. So they have this really addictively fun and easy bite-sized language lesson. Only 10 minutes to complete a lesson. I love that. Just think about it. Like you can do anything for 10 minutes. I feel like they say that in like workout classes, but you can start having real life conversations in a new language as little as 3 weeks. I feel like that is so encouraging. Like you could literally start speaking to someone in another language in 3 weeks with 10-minute lessons. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective, and you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, German, and more. And it helps you improve your pronunciation with their speech recognition technology. There's so many different ways to learn, and they have podcasts on there. There's games, there's video stories, even live classes. It's just like a really fun way to learn a language. Like just kind of remove the stigma that you're like back in school and learning a language. It's annoying. It's hard. You know, you're going to be graded on it, and just really get in there and take a 10-minute lesson. So it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. And right now, get up to 55% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/GGE. That's babbel.com/GGE for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life.
So it's October. It's breakup season. Welcome.
Insane.
Last year we did this episode where we talked about how everybody's breaking up, and I kind of forgot when it was because you and I were like, everybody's breaking up again.
Yes. So this was a couple weeks back, like end of September. We were like, what's going on? It's happening again. And then we were like, was this last year at this time? Then I was thinking like, no, it was later in the year. It was closer to the holidays. I looked it up. October 3rd, last year, we did the episode, Why is Everyone Breaking Up? And X is Resurfacing. But it was so happening again.
It's happening again. I mean, everybody around us, also Tom and Giselle. So I was like Googling this morning, like breaking up in October. And there's a wide range of when people break up. Everybody's on articles about this. And it's like, everybody breaks up before summer. Everybody breaks up before Valentine's Day. But then I found this thing that like made me laugh. It's in Cosmo. The article is by a girl named Hannah Smothers, just about why everybody is breaking up around now. And she calls it, she coined it, I don't know if this is an original phrase, the turkey drop. So everyone's trying to get away from you right before Thanksgiving. With an appropriate amount of time before the holidays, because if you're sort of like lukewarm on somebody, it is hard to bring them home. It's hard to like have to talk about your relationship if it's not just like over. I mean, this was her theory.
I don't know. I don't want to offend her. I think that's like a basic lukewarm take. I don't think that's really it. I think we see people break up that have been together for years. They've been going home for the holidays. Like I've heard that before. It's not new information.
Yeah, break up before the holidays.
Break up before the holidays.
I just never heard turkey drop before.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, everything's rebranded all the time.
Yeah.
So I just don't think that's really it. I think because I don't think it's the brand new couples that have never spent a holiday together. It always runs the gamut. I mean, it's so many different levels of relationships, seriousness, commitment that break up around this time.
I will tell you, October is a great month for me every year. When I like run the tape on like every guy that I've met in my best month, it's always October. Maybe because people have just broken up and they're motivated to go out and date. But
I mean, well, there's cuffing season too. So it's this weird circle of life, I feel like, where it's breaking up and then also more people are getting together with cuffing season. So we haven't really even discussed that. And recently, it was like last year around this time, we did the whole breakup thing. So there's certainly something to it getting chillier out and summer being over and you kind of ran around and were a slut all summer. Maybe that's just my story. And now you're kind of ready to like snuggle up and settle down. It's getting dark earlier and all those things. So there is that.
Yeah. I feel like if you're going through a breakup, it's exciting because October just historically for me is my best month. I always meet guys. I always sleep around. I feel like ready to settle down for the winter. So if you are going through a breakup, no better time to date than now.
Yeah. And I also think sometimes people just break up because guys are fucking doing all their dumb football shit. And you're like, I'm out. Again, this is probably personal to me as well.
Because your little fantasy league.
Your little fantasy league. This little imaginary team you coach. That's why this is a bit I do on stage. Come see me. Nashville and Atlanta, Denver. Yeah. Okay. So yes, it's happening again.
It's happening. We're seeing it all around us. I mean, I, for one, am always happy when a friend of mine returns to the wild with me. I feel like we just get to like hang more. I never want to see anybody that I love go through any pain, of course. But I love having single girlfriends. And I think they're so fun to go out with and party with. And I don't know. I love a single girlfriend.
Okay. So I wanted to read you this DM.
Okay.
I've had this for a couple weeks now, and I wanted to read it to you, and I just think it's so funny, and I wanted to answer a question live on air as well.
Okay.
Please clarify on eating ass. Okay. My husband likes when I'm on all fours to eat my pussy from behind. Is this eating ass? He doesn't touch. No, we're not done. Okay. He doesn't touch my butthole, but it's wide open for the taking. Or is eating ass actually licking the butthole? Thanks in advance. Hand heart emoji.
Okay.
Can I just say my response?
Yes.
So I wanted to
Did you
validate
respond to her?
Yes, I responded to her. I said, obsessed with this question and definitely want to answer on the podcast. Eating ass definitely involves the butthole, but we like what you guys are into. She got a personal response from you. I love this question. I would have asked that like when I was younger. Like, is this eating ass? Is this what everyone's talking about?
Right, like licking a taint too. Like, is that eating? I mean, I guess if you want to boil it down to like the actual definition, eating ass is. I mean, your tongue is going in the beehole.
Yeah, I answered her. I mean, no, it's not.
Yeah,
but I love this. You guys are freaky deaky. You're on all fours while he's eating your pussy from behind. Just get his tongue in your butthole.
Have you never done that?
I'm sure I have. And I was thinking about this. I feel like I used to sit on so many more faces. I feel like I've not climbed up on someone's face in so long. Like, I feel like I was always sitting on a guy's face and it's been a minute. So I feel like I've done all this stuff. I've had my pussy eaten so many times. I've done it all, but that is not what everybody's doing. A lot of women feel insecure even having a guy go down on them. So a lot of women are not on all fours,
Totally.
spread open, getting eaten from behind. So it is on a little freakier side to me. So I'm like, if you guys are already doing that, ass eating, it's around the corner.
Okay, I just want to say, I want to backtrack and then I want to get back to butthole eating. I want to say I have sat on one person's face ever. As a person who's very small, I'm built like a little circus person. I sat on one face. It was this winter. And that was it.
What?
One face ever. I think it's so hot and I see it in like movies and shows and porn, obviously, but I don't really love having people go down on me.
That's right.
To begin with.
Yeah.
And so I'm not really wanting to sit and like kneel on your face. I don't do it a lot. I mean, I think it's so hot, but like you gotta like want to do that because you gotta climb up there. You know what I mean?
I have been sitting on faces since I was 18 years old. The two guys, the guy that I was fucking that I lost my virginity to when I was 18, and then the guy that gave me my first orgasm at 19, like these were like back to back sitting on faces.
Where is the emphasis on your body? Like where are you leaning? Like it's in the knees? Like how are you not suffocating?
You can't just fully plop down full weight. Like that's how you kill somebody, I think. No, I mean, you also usually, to me, I mean, these were usually scenarios where there was a headboard.
Okay, so you're holding a headboard. Yeah. That's the summer. This winter, the one time I ever did it. Decent headboard.
I don't really know. I'm trying to think if I don't think that I've ever done it without a headboard. So yeah, and then I feel like I haven't done it in so long. Like this is what I'm saying. Like I just had this thought that entered my head. I put it in my notes app to maybe like build a bit around it of like, I used to sit on so many more faces.
That is so funny that you're just like a lifelong face sitter.
It used to be like a thing that guys would say. I think it's like this hot thing. And then I'd be like, all right.
I mean, I'll do anything you want. You know what? I feel like I might like people going down on me more if I got more, like if people like begged me for it. I feel like I am so like in the last few relationships I've been in, I've been very like steadfast. I don't want this. I don't care about it. If somebody was like begging me for it, I was like, your pussy is the most beautiful pussy I've ever seen in my whole life. It's the most beautiful tasting thing ever.
Yeah.
I think I'm very much like, I don't care about this. I don't want it. So it's like not really part of like the sexual lexicon of our relationship.
The sexicon.
But I don't mind from behind because I like when somebody gets you like a little wet down there and then fucks you from behind.
Yeah.
So even if they like if you're standing and they get on their knees a little bit, but their nose is in your butthole.
Yeah. And so for this girl who messaged, keep doing what you're doing. And you not eating ass is not for everybody. I mean, I've had like 2 people do it to me in my whole life, you know, and the first guy that did it, I think I was like 29 or like 28. It's not something you need to do if you're not into it. It sounds like what you guys are doing sounds great to me. Keep it up, hand heart.
That sounds so freaky, hand heart. I think it's fun. People aren't like begging to eat my butthole either. It's not. Maybe I should just be more open to stuff. I feel like I'm open to everything else, but I'm like, I don't want you to go down on me. The most boring.
And you don't like your butt stuff. Like, yeah, I feel like you need to just let them get back in there.
I get really turned on by turning other people on. Like it excites. Like you guys know, I like masturbate to giving blowjobs. So it turns me on to turn somebody else on.
Raina cannot be more different. Turns me on that you're turning me on. What? Okay. And then while we're on the sex talk, we just wanted to just remind you guys about Vibes Only. The Vibes Only app right now is so hot because we have Naomi, which is our star female voice. She's back with the sexiest story to date, part 3 of Naomi. You guys love Naomi if you're in the app. And our star guy, Conrad, the BDSM Dom, he's back too. So it's like the hottest week ever. And Raina, I got to tell you, I came out of the nail salon last week and I see across the street these 4 girls and I saw them kind of whispering and I'm like, okay. So they like accost me in the crosswalk. I loved it. And they were like, last night we all listened to Vibes Only together, the app.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
So I think they did the free trial. So they all listened to Conrad as a group. I'm dying over it.
That is so funny.
It was so cute. I just loved it. I was like, what a fun little listening party. With your girlfriends getting wet together.
Yeah,
how fun is that?
A masturbation circle. You guys, I love how open you all are. I love how open you guys all are. And so exciting. The Reina is available for pre-order.
Yes.
Our cult following number 1 bestseller, Reina 2-in-1 with a clit sucker, is available for pre-order. It will ship latest next week. So we will let you know the exact dates, but you can go on vibesonly.com. You can get that. The Reina is going to be back in stock. You can pre-order it right now. It will ship in about a week. So it's not a long run time. But when you get that, you can connect it to the app. You can get into the app. The remote control is free. So all the basic controllers that we have in there, you can go to the App Store and download Vibes Only, and the remote's free and a lot of the content. And then hopefully you'll love it and stick around and want the rest of the content.
Yes. And if you're like, what the fuck is this? It is erotic audio experiences, and they connect to your Bluetooth toys, but you can get in the app and listen without the toys. But we do recommend them together. And then we have all these products, and of course the lube and the blow gel and the new massage oil, which we are loving. We talked about the massage oil last week. Okay, so one last thing I just wanted to discuss before we get into it with our guest today. If you are familiar with this show, you know that we're very passionate about women's reproductive rights, abortion. That goes without saying. If you're new here, you can listen back to 2 of our episodes. One with Dr. Mira Shah, that was from August 10th, 2020, where we discussed abortion in a factual matter with a doctor. You guys love that episode. We recommend her book, You're the Only One I've Told, The Stories Behind Abortion. Please consider reading this book or getting it for someone that you care about. It's the best book. And just the stories that you just don't really always think about, and just the importance of abortion, and then abortion as healthcare.
Yes, and it's probably one of the episodes you guys have shared with each other the most. So thank you for doing that. Sharing these types of episodes are really, really important. So thank you very much.
And then after Roe v. Wade was overturned, we did an emergency bonus episode on June 28th where we just went off. And it also is factual, but we really just popped off very passionately, and you can go back and listen to that as well. We had nothing but a 100% positive response on that, which was so, most of us collectively feel the same way about this issue. And so we told you that this discussion wasn't over. It's not. This war on women and our control over our bodies is not over, and midterm elections are coming up. So where we can very much just vote out some of these people, vote in the people who support women's rights and have a progressive agenda for the country. So as always, Rain and I know that there is corruption and deception on both sides. We know so many things about our political system are fucked, but there is a very clear side that will fight for women. These are the platforms that they stand for, and that's how it's always been and how it will continue to be. So we just need to always want to say that, that we're just like, let's just move this shit in the right direction. A couple things. Midterm election date is November 8th. So you can check your registration status. I'm going to give you some information on that. So you can go to, I like rockthevote.org. You can click check your registration status. You can fill out the form. You can visit your state's Board of Election site to see if you're registered. It's a great site for information, even just general information, even if you're like, what are midterms?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know what that even means.
Like, midterms determine the makeup of Congress. Like, they're very, very important. They significantly impact how the president is able to govern in the second half of his term. So registration deadlines are coming up if you're not registered to vote. Some have passed. So you can go to rockthevote.org. You can go to vote.org. You can search by state. Some have passed, like I said, but some states are still 15 days before. So you could still do it this week if you're listening, if you're not registered to vote. So please register to vote. Check your registration status. Just check it, even if you're like, I am registered to vote, because so many things have gotten so fucked up with like voter suppression and different things. So just like check to make sure that you're like greenlit, ready to go on November 8th. And I wanted to bring up something that's happening in my former home state of Georgia right now. And this is important, but there's a little tea here. So just listen along. So Herschel Walker, he's this former NFL player. He's in the Senate race in Georgia. You may have seen this. I mean, SNL is doing sketches on it. Like, it's big in the news. He is completely unfit to run for a multitude of reasons, one of which he has literally no grasp of U.S. policy. He cannot formulate actual answers to the most basic of questions. Like, he's endorsed by Donald Trump, because of course he is. But he is running as a Republican, hardcore pro-life stance, no exceptions, abortion ban, all the things. However, his ex-girlfriend has come out and said that back in, I think, 2009, he paid for her abortion. She got pregnant by him. He paid for that abortion. And then again, in I believe 2011, she got pregnant with him again. And he tried to get her to have an abortion, and she decided not to. So she had the child. She had his child. The child is 10 years old now. And she has the receipts. She has the receipt from the clinic. She has the get well card he sent and signed her, all of it. And of course, he tried to deny it, saying that he didn't know her. He didn't do this. And then they're like, then it came out that he has a kid with her. Like, he's a liar, is what he is. I mean, he's a compulsive liar. He's a totally absent father to this child. And I know her. I'm not like continuously in touch with her, but I did spend time with her when this was happening. You guys know I lived in Atlanta. I messaged her the other day to tell her that I support her. She is familiar with the show. I'm assuming she listens. She was saying she wants to come to a show. So we'll see you in 2023, girl. But I know her. I know this is true. It's not a controversial take that this is true or not. Like, she had provided the receipts, the proof, all these things. Yeah. So it's just like, I want to tell you that I know her, that this obviously is true. I mean, he's had to try to backpedal and all this stuff. He's just completely delusional, hypocrite person. His own right-wing son came out putting out a statement saying like he's a liar and he's a terrible father. His son on Instagram, he said, family values people. He has 4 kids, 4 different women, wasn't in the house raising them. I was silent after lie. Like, that's his son. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, I'm sharing this story because I feel close to it for a number of reasons. You know, having lived in Georgia for 10 years, knowing this woman and just being so completely outraged by these lying hypocrite politicians who claim to be pro-life, and they want to institute abortion bans and control women's bodies publicly, but privately they have encouraged and are paying for women's abortions. He's not the only one. I'm using him as an example because I know her and I know the story, but there's so many. It's just disgusting. It's like the rules, they don't even believe in this.
Well, they believe in it until it applies to them.
But I don't think that they do. I mean, everybody's different. I think they don't give a shit. This is all they have left to run on. Mm-hmm. So just Georgians, keep this in mind, spread the word. I just wanted to share this story. You can vote for, obviously, the incumbent Senator Raphael Warnock. He's running against him. So this is just a really closely watched race. Georgia always is. It has been, especially in recent years. And of course, we endorse Stacey Abrams for governor. And of course, we want to vote people in who will support women's rights to control their own bodies.
Yeah, absolutely. So a longtime partner of ours that we love cooking so much. It's fall. We're staying home. We're getting cozy. It is the perfect time for HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. They have great selections for everyone. Go to HelloFresh.com/GGE65 and use the code GGE65 for 65% off plus free shipping. I think HelloFresh is so fun. There's so much to choose from. So if you're choosing to cook for your kids, if it's date night, if it's for friends, if you want locale options, quick cleanup, vegetarian, they really have it all. They offer 50 weekly recipes. There's a huge range of flavors and cuisines and tons of add-ons. So if you guys just thought of this as dinner before, it's not. It's breakfast, it's lunches, it's proteins and sides. Lots of stuff for fall. So if you're tailgating, if you want to throw an Oktoberfest, a little party, if you just want to do a quick and easy meal in 20 minutes. So stuff that I'm really loving right now, I was just looking through the site this morning, meatballs with bulgogi sauce. You know, we love meatballs in this family. Crispy buffalo chicken and one-pot chicken sausage and kale soup. You know, I love it.
That soup, I did that one recently. It's like some of these soups, like you think of a soup, you got to let it simmer forever. Some of these are like 20 minutes to amazing soups.
Yes. Really, none of this is really high level. If you feel intimidated by cooking anything, I mean, no skill level is required pretty much. And it's just fun to do with girlfriends. And I love it. I love the recipes, and they send a recipe card, which you can easily save. And if you have a schedule that changes a lot, plans are flexible and you can choose meals for the week, update your preferences, change delivery days and dates. So it's lots to work with, and we're going to give you guys a discount. You can go to HelloFresh.com/GGE65 and use the code GGE65 for 65% off plus free shipping.
Okay, and I am telling you guys about Calm. You know that we love this app so much. I just think it is so important. We're talking about mental health today, and this is something that people really use to improve their mental health and overall just focus and breathing and all the things. So we are partnering with Calm, the #1 mental wellness app, to give you the tools that improve the way you feel. If you go to calm.com/GGE, you'll get a special offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription, and new content is added every week. Okay, so I always do this. I'm just going to go into the app. I mean, the app has even just changed since we first started partnering with them, and I just love to see it. I mean, you can go in here and just, again, do meditations. You can train your mind with LeBron James. I just love that there's the breathing stuff. I know, Raina, you asked me recently, you're like, what's breath work? I was like, it's breathing. But you can really work on that. And I see stuff here for managing pain. There's parenting. Like, this is so good for parents and kids. There's stuff in here for kids. Yeah. I mean, I think kids deal with so much more stress and anxiety than they ever used to when we were growing up. And so there's a Calm Kids and work life. And I love that you can browse the meditations by time from 3 minutes all the way up to 60 plus minutes. So if you're like, drive, 3 minutes to clear my mind. You can get in there and just choose a 3-minute meditation. And of course, the sleep stories narrated by voices that you know. There are soundscapes. I always do the Rain on Leaves or the Calm Island, if you're wondering what I fall asleep to every night, afternoon reset, and just all this stuff. You guys, it's such an incredible app. Over 100 million people around the world use Calm to take care of their minds. These apps are just flexing on us. And they can help you stress less, sleep, I know, and live a happier, healthier life. So for listeners of the show, Calm is offering an exclusive offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/GGE. Go to calm.com/GGE for 40% off. Unlimited access to Calm's entire library. That is calm.com/GGE.
All right, guys, we're so excited to welcome a guest today and a friend of ours. She is the host of the weekly iHeartRadio podcast, Tell Me About It. The podcast is a manifestation of all the off-the-record conversations with women about things we're taught to stay quiet about, from stumbling through our 20s, rejections, heartbreaks, fertility struggles, the challenges that come from mental illness. When she is not recording, you can find her at home in LA with her pug, Taco. You know I love a pug. Please welcome to the show, Jade Iovine.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
God, that intro. Thank you so much.
I know, Raina. Wow.
I
You really went off.
Every time I get through a whole thing without stumbling, we're always like,
No, that was excellent.
Thank you so much. Well, we met you because we did your show and we had so much fun. We loved the conversation.
Yes, so much.
It was like we do a lot of podcasts and it was so easy and effortless with you.
Okay,
We're so
good.
excited you're here to record with us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I know. We're excited to be real friends.
No, for real. Now we've met in real life. Now we can really be like not just Instagram friends.
We're going to come to LA.
100%.
Yes. So we didn't see you in this last trip, but then I was like, whatever, because we're going to move there in January for a few months.
Are you really?
Yeah. I thought we had told you that before.
Well, you told me you were thinking about it, but not that it was really happening. Both of you are coming.
Yeah.
Both of us are coming. January 3rd, we got houses.
Hell yes.
Every time we tell people are like, together. I'm like, we're not moving in together.
But are you going to live near each other?
No.
Actually, this will be the first time in years that we're not like a 5-minute walk from each other.
Yeah.
Actually,
honestly,
it's a 5-minute walk from her.
But everything in LA is a half an hour away. Even if like you live a block away from each other, you'll never see each other. So it's like, this is great.
Well, we'll get together with Taco and Azul.
100%.
Which I love, this like kind of, Mexican theme they have going on.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway,
tell us about yourself. Tell the audience about yourself.
Tell me about it.
Oh my God. Tell me about myself. Well, born and raised in LA, so I will be welcoming Raina and Ashley to LA. I started this podcast a few years ago, kind of after my own, I call it like my rock bottom. Like I had a really bad mental health season. Let's call it. It was about like 3 years. So it was a long season. But I also, grew up in the entertainment industry and kind of grew up with all these people that everyone kind of assumed were perfect. And so I kind of got this behind the curtain view of these very flawed and imperfect human beings. And so I think that was kind of one inspiration behind the show. And also then my own struggles. And every time I ever went through something in life, I always felt like I went through it to help other people who like came after me that were going through it. I was always like my parents were the first ones to get divorced in school, like all this other bullshit. So when I hit like my rock bottom, I was like, I can't recover from this. And I was 23, 24, however old I was. I was like, I can never recover from this. My life is over. I had to quit my job. I was really depressed and anxious. But I just thought like my life was over, and I was like, wait, this I can't be the only person in the world to like go through something shitty. I can't be the only person that like deals with this. So I remember like seeing it was the age of Instagram that we're kind of still in, where like everyone was posting like, face-tuned pictures, but not only that, I mean, we're all still doing that. Really, everyone was focused on aspirational content, right? And it was always like, okay, how do you be the most aspirational possible? And I was like, fuck that. I'm like the opposite of aspirational. Like I find most connection like relating with people. And I just was like, okay, I need to start a show that like I needed when I was going through all my shit. Like I needed to, can I curse on this show? After I've said
Girl,
fuck
please.
15 times.
Yeah. We'll say double penetration, whatever you want to say.
We have no clean content on the show. That's
Fantastic.
why we
I
can
thought so, but
barely
I was like,
find a
maybe I
clip
should check.
for daytime TV because of it.
Fantastic. Yeah. So basically I was like, I want to create a show that I needed basically when I was going through my hell. And I
was that your curse?
About it.
Hell.
Yes.
Can I say hell?
Yes.
Sorry.
H-E double hockey stick. No. Yeah. So then I created Tell Me About It. And like, it's been about a year and like 9-ish months. And and here I am now.
Jade, you said something that like really struck me because you said you grew up in the entertainment industry around a lot of really famous people. And even though you were able to like see behind the curtain, they're like, none of this is real and everybody has problems. And it doesn't matter that the richest and most beautiful people in the world, like it's all fake.
100%.
To still feel like it's still so hard to struggle with like the depression and feel like, why am I like this? Even though you know that everybody's like this.
Right.
Even at the top.
Totally. And I think it's like, you might know some of your family friends go through shit, but like, then you still have all those girls on Instagram that you admire and think, but like, oh, but maybe some people are just exempt from dealing with all this shit. Right. And the truth is no one is, but I wanted to find out for sure. I wanted to create a show that exclusively talked about the shit we went through rather than like, I really honestly don't allow people to talk about their successes on my show. It's kind of fucked up, but I'm like, I only want to hear like the times that you binge ate after a breakup or like the times that your mental health got so bad you were institutionalized or whatever it is, like grief, all that stuff. And there's like so much connection that can come from like those really deep, hard things like grief. And then there's things that are like we talked about, I think we might have talked about this before, but like when you see on Instagram that someone has something exciting coming up and you're like, I'll just go fuck myself because my life sucks, you know? So I just want to relate on that full spectrum of like shittiness, basically.
I can't even imagine the conversation you and Hannah had the other
day.
Because Hannah is like, we're going to talk about your demons and all your fucked up shit.
I know. She and I were like, it was very funny because the whole time we were like, our shows are extremely similar, but also like, the content is hilarious. And we're both these like depressed Italian people. So it's great.
So I have a question for you. And we talked about, this was a topic you covered on one of your recent episodes, and the way you post it in the episode description I loved is like, what's worse, everything going wrong and feeling like shit, or feeling like shit but nothing's wrong?
Yeah.
And if this is like too weird of a personal question, just tell me. Like,
never.
But did you feel guilt and shame about struggling when you're like, but I've had all this
100%.
Privilege and I've had, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. There's that, like there's that just generally like, like my life is, I'm doing what I love and my life is great and I have a roof over my head and I don't have to worry about X, Y, and Z. But it's also like, I just got engaged. Actually, I just got engaged a year ago in October. And I remember feeling like on top of the world. I felt so great. And then lo and behold, like a month later, my depression reared its ugly head. And I was like, this is a bizarre feeling because I'm supposed to be the happiest I've ever been. And I think that's like a really hard thing with depression, that like, even if you're so well versed in like what it really is, like a chemical imbalance, and you know that it's not you, and I'm on medication and X, Y, and Z, like, I think it was really hard for me because it does trick you into questioning your whole life. Because all of a sudden, it wasn't just that I had this chemical imbalance. I'm like, did I make a wrong decision? Like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my life? What's wrong with my partner? And I think it's a weird thing. Like, because sometimes when you're depressed, you can be depressed because of a multitude of things that are going wrong. There can be actual there can be actual things that are really shitty in your life right now, and you can feel depressed, and you can be like, okay, maybe this is a little circumstantial and a little bit of my chemical imbalance. But when you feel like everything is going right and you still can't get up and you still feel like shit and you still feel like hopeless, that's a whole other level of depression that like it's really hard to pull yourself out from. And it's scary because you're like, well, if this is everything's going great, what's going to happen when something goes wrong? Like, what am I going to be like?
And it's a struggle to feel like I've got the money, I've hit the milestones, I got the engagement ring, I have these things, but like what you said, the chemical imbalance in my brain is not allowing me to like feel it. So what do you do? Let's talk about it.
Right.
Let's talk about therapy. And
therapy. My God, yes. I'm like obsessed with my therapist. Therapy is huge for me. My medication is huge for me. And also the attitude that I have about my medication has like only really, like up until probably like 2 years ago, I had a really unhealthy relationship with my medication. Like I'd skip it all the time. Okay. It was kind of just like self-sabotaging in a weird way. And I just felt like I was so resentful that other people got to get up every morning and the birds were singing and I had to have this pill that made me function, or made me myself. And it has all of its side effects and stuff that I was so resentful over. And so recently I've, or when I first started Lexapro, because with antidepressants, you kind of have to try a few. I mean, sometimes people are lucky and try one and they get it right, but it's kind of like birth control or any of those other things, like where you have to find what works best for you, and what works best for you is not what works best for other people. But I made a promise to myself 2 years ago, and I was like, listen, we're going to go on this pill. and we're going to take it one day at a time, you know, like in AA, you know, we're going to take this one day at a time, and I'm not going to make any promises to myself. Like I'm going to be on it for 3 years and then I'm going to come off it. Like I was not going to do any of those stupid mind games. I was like, we're going to take this a day at a time. And if there's a season in my life that I'm slipping, I'm going to be okay if I need to up my prescription, if I need to up the dose. And that was always so scary for me because I was always just itching to get back to never needing it. When I was like, 16 was probably like the last time I didn't need it, you know? So I was always just trying to get to the point like, okay, if I increase it now, but I'll go down again in 2 months. And that's just like so maddening because truly there are like, your mental illness comes in seasons sometimes. And it's like, you can't predict that. So I've gone up and down. And like sometimes even like I tried during my PMS times to go up a dose and then come back down. You just have to be like, we all have to be just like easier on ourselves about that. So that's really important to me with my mental health. And like when that's happening, I'm like, okay, Jade, you might need like 10 milligrams more. And like, that's okay. And it's not a life sentence.
I love this conversation about a difficult relationship with your medication.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate. I mean, did you find it generally shifting your own mindset into like, do you ever have like gratitude? Like, I'm glad that I can have this mindset.
My God.
Like instead of I hate this and I shouldn't have to do this, and more like we're lucky that we have these advances in medicine to help.
Yes. I think like that shift happened about 2 years ago. And it also happened because I heard a lot of other people like that were on it and got their life back from it. I truly could not have the career I have, the life I have, the relationship that I have without this pill. And there's two ways to look at that. On one hand, I could be like, fuck my life. Like, why can other people do all those things and I can't? Or it's like, thank God I have this thing. Because I also know so many people who are struggling so hard because they can't find that pill. You know, they can't find the right medication that makes them feel like their wheels are back on track, or it makes them feel not like themselves. Like my medication makes me feel like me. Like, and I have every, like the broad spectrum of emotions. Like I'm able to do all these things that like, quite frankly, I'm a depressed bitch. Like I truly like, there's no getting around
that should be the name of your podcast.
You know, yeah, like truly.
I love that.
Depressed bitch.
Or like, or merch.
Yes, I know. Like truly though, like I'm anxious and depressed. Well, I don't know why that's surprising to me. Both of my parents are, and like my siblings are. You know, there was no chance in the gene pool for it to go any other way. So I just am kind of like radical self-acceptance. Like just like this is who I am. And honestly, I think it comes from also making a career out of it. Like now I talk to people only about those things that make them that as insecure as my medication makes me. You know, so I think it's like I do that to heal myself as well.
Okay. I'm just curious, in therapy, we talk a lot about mental illness on the show, and pills and medication are right for different people. But prior to that, or even now today, while you're on medication, do you have any like mantras and self-talk that really help you, where when you say to yourself, like, nothing is wrong and I'm still sad. So like, why am I like this? Because I think it's hard to get out of that for a lot of people. And for myself too, when I'm feeling like really, really low, I will like sit down and I'll make a list of the things that I think I feel low about, and I'll try to address those things. But even that doesn't help sometimes. So do you have some tools in your toolkit?
I think hitting rock, I call it rock bottom. I think that's even like an aggressive term for it, because it really like for, you know, everyone's rock bottom is subjective, of course. But I think just knowing that I got out of that, which was because I had to go to like a mental health outpatient program, and like I did all these things, and I thought I'd never get my life back. And I thought that I'd never laugh again, or you know what I mean? You get like when you're depressed, your brain it's a different person talking to you. And you kind of just think like, the hopelessness is an adjective I would use to describe depression, because you just feel like this is forever. This is who I am. I'm never going to be one of those carefree girls, et cetera, et cetera. So I think just knowing that it does pass, like this too shall pass kind of, which is like a cliche, obviously, and stupid, but just knowing that like, it might take a week, it might take 2 weeks, it might take a month. And that's scary. When you first get in bed, you know, or wherever your cozy depression zone is, like, will I ever get out? You know, because I know people who aren't medicated and don't take care of their mental health at all, and they're in bed forever, or you know what I mean? Like they're down there forever. So I think just knowing that like I'm trying, I'm doing the best I can. And like, I have to be patient. There's no other way out than through. Mm-hmm. It was not sustainable at all, you know? And I had this job and how it looked on the outside was like, I was succeeding. I was like doing everything you're supposed to do post college, but it's kind of like all of my childhood trauma, like everything caught up to me at once.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And my relationships couldn't survive. I was very volatile, like, and that's like not who I am at all. Like anger is not really like something that I pursue in my like daily life. It's not like something I really have. And I was just angry and I was like not myself at all. And I all of a sudden was just like, I need to go to the hospital. Cause like, I was like, I just need to go to I need to check myself in somewhere because I am losing my mind. I didn't recognize who I was or what I did. And it's funny because even now I'll look back at text messages from that time and like, I almost can't. Like it's like embarrassing for me because I'm like, it was a different person. Like even just down to the amount of like exclamation points. My decisions weren't mine. I just like had completely lost it.
Were you with your like now fiance?
Yes.
You guys have been together since college, right?
Yeah. Bless his soul.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to your episode about him supporting you through this. It's very funny because he was like, "Yeah, I don't have this. Our family doesn't do this."
I know. Meanwhile, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I'm always like, you know, your aunt has severe depression. Like, I try to like point out like all of his family.
And he didn't say that in like such a flippant way. He just, you know, he's a boy. It's
right.
Right.
But he didn't grow up with it in his family, so he doesn't know how to.
That's the way he
didn't grow up with like Prozac on the breakfast table like I did.
But I'm excited to talk. Can we talk about like the relationship through that?
And
yes.
You need to be supported. And okay, off now.
No, we're gonna ask the same question. So, let's talk about sort of like what your relationship was like at that period versus now, and like how he supported you through that.
I think we were both really young, you know, and also like I do feel bad to an extent because I sold him a completely different version of like who I turned out to be. You know, like as I said, like I didn't really have mental illness like I know it now. When we first started dating, you know, I was crazy in my own right, you know, but I didn't have this kind of stuff. It's like this new person was in our relationship. Like not only was it me and him, but it was like my mental illness now had a seat at the table.
So what did the conversations look like when you said, you know, mental illness has a seat? I love the way you phrased that it had the seat at the table now. So like, how did you even try to explain that to him? And I'm sure it was really tough for him. It's harder for you. Yeah. But, you know, just hard in your relationship in general. So how did that look?
Yeah.
Right. And were you ever like, he's going to leave me? Like, were you ever like, I'm going to
damaged goods.
No, God,
that's what I felt. No, yes, that's what I felt.
Was it a fear of like, he
for sure
will not stand by me through this?
Yeah. I loved him so much. And I love him so much that I was like, I felt bad. Like I felt so guilty. I felt like, and I think what really helped us through the whole thing was like, I was free falling for a while, you know, just like doing whatever I could to get by, like taking mental health weeks. Like I lost like all my friendships at the time. Like I could not be a normal person. I didn't know how to like be carefree anymore. I didn't know how to just like hang out. I couldn't see out from under it. But I think once I went to the hospital and checked myself in, that was like the beginning of the series where like my mental illness wasn't under control yet, but he knew that I was taking steps to like handle it and that I knew and that we were learning together, that I was as blind as he was to this whole world. You know, I'd include him in my therapy sessions and sometimes, and he'd come to my outpatient program. Like he was very involved. And I think that's what saved us, was that I never tried to just go it alone.
Yeah. I think that's like the most helpful advice in the world. I dated somebody who was tremendously depressed on and off, and I didn't know how to help him. And that really was hard for me because I felt like if I just loved him more, if I tried harder, if I gave him if I tried to give him the tools to be more successful, that like I can make him happy. And then you're like, but why can't I make you happy? And I think for me, the stress was that I felt like he wasn't doing anything to make it better. And I am completely sympathetic to the fact that when you're depressed, that's a really hard step to take. You're not somebody in a normal mindset saying, let me just pull on these levers and see if it's better. But what you said in terms of like, he could look at me and see that I was trying.
Right.
And I think that's really incredible in a relationship and very helpful.
I think, you know, like it's like someone with diabetes. Like you wouldn't not date someone with diabetes, but you would maybe if they refuse to take their insulin or like they refuse to like help themselves in some way. And I think that's like that's where it gets really hard. And by the way, like I went through a season where like I was not helping myself in a proper way at all. I was just doing whatever I needed to do to get by. And that was a really dark time in our relationship. Like it was really hard. He was like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, who are you? You know, like I was raging. It was chaos all the time. I didn't know how to help myself. So I think once I finally like saw a little light, and that's the thing, it does not happen all at once. It's not an avalanche. It's like a very gradual thing. I think once I saw a little light, I was like, okay, I'm grabbing your hand and you're coming with me on this journey. And we're going to figure this out because I need to also learn that it's like a disease like cancer. You know, it's like truly like, it's not just circumstantial. It's like, I have this thing that is part of our relationship and it's not going anywhere. So like, how do we both learn how to manage it? Because he's also solution oriented. You know, he's like, okay, if you're sad, there's probably a reason, like, let's help it, you know, like, let's figure it out. And I'm like, oh my God, like, that's just not even gonna help at all, you know? So it was hard. Like, I'm not going to lie and sit here and say like, he was amazing and he totally got it from the jump. He didn't. He was like, okay. You know, there were a lot of times where he was like, are you sure you're okay? And I was like, absolutely not okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we figured it out.
I mean, what a just testament to the like love and commitment you guys obviously have, because so many couples don't make it past college without all of this. Like the fact that you just don't grow up the same way. You don't grow together. You go on your separate paths. You stop clicking the way that you once did. So it's really, I don't know if impressive is the right word, but that you guys dealt through all this and are still in this great place. You're getting married. I mean, how long have you guys been together total
8
now?
years.
8 years. Yeah. Like what a journey. But I mean, it just sounds like you found your person and we're like, we're going to do whatever it takes to make this work.
You weren't traumatized as a child. Let me just catch you up real quick. I'll traumatize you real quick.
But he just was like, I'm in it for the long haul.
Yeah,
like,
I guess.
Is that the vibe?
Yes.
Are you just like, were you ever like, is this cool? And he's like, hey, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
No, like
was
night
that like
three
an
of him,
assurance that you felt?
Like him sleeping on the couch of my hospital room, like while I'm like losing my fucking mind. Yeah. I was like, okay, you know, like this guy is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But I think it was also like, he also had a great support system that really wanted to make sure that he didn't get lost in the sauce, you know, because I think it can also really become about the person who's in crisis and who's in healing. And he was like, you know, a young 20-something-year-old who was trying to like make a career and do all these things. So I think it was important for him to separate and have some boundaries, being like, I have to go to work, but like I'm here, you can call me at all hours, you know, but like there are certain things that I just have to do because I can't drown with you. And that you can do that in a loving way. Yeah. You know?
Boundaries.
Boundaries, man.
Right. If
Still learning about
if Raina did an episode about boundaries,
she could bring up boundaries.
Ashley found her. She's my favorite guest, besides you, Jade. But I will say, like, what an incredible thing at his age that he could do this. Because, like, I was the person you were describing before in my relationship at the time, where I would just be like, okay, well, you know, you seem to be depressed about your job, and it's your station in life, and like, all right, well, let's write a resume, let's apply for jobs. Let me just help you. I'll help you the cover letter. I'm so good at this. Let's do all these things. And the other person sometimes doesn't even know how to tell you, like, it's not, I can't just do a couple little things and change because it's a chemical imbalance. And I had never suffered from that. So I was young and I just was like, well, let's just write a resume. We got this, you know, and it's not like that.
I say to him all the time, like, I don't know if I'd have the same grace and patience that you had with me, like if the roles were reversed. Like I know that makes me a horrible human being, but it's truly so frustrating because you're like, get the fuck up, like be yourself, like come on, get it together. Like you're so lucky, you have all these things going for you, like you can do this. And also when you love someone, you don't want to see them in pain like that, you know? So I 100% understand like the other side where you're just like, okay, like it's been 2 months. This is like kind of not cute anymore, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving the honesty in this conversation.
Very honest.
Yeah,
I don't know any other way, unfortunately.
I love this thing that you said. I want to like go back to it because I think it's super validating to people to with this feeling of like seeing what other people are doing on social media. And you had said like we shouldn't put people on pedestals, and like you said it earlier, but I want to go back to it and actually like break it down. When you see someone saying like big things happening, exciting announcement coming up.
I hate them. At times
Listen,
I am
we do it,
person.
but I get it.
No, I'm literally like, I do it too. It's like a marketing, but all of a sudden, like when I do it, even if it's like fake and it's like something that it's not that exciting, I'm like, oh my God. But then when other people do it, I'm like, oh my God, it must be like the queen of, may she rest in peace. Like it must be like someone coming on her show that like I want so badly. It's truly like the worst feeling in the whole world. And I feel like people are doing it more now. I don't know why. I feel like just it's like everywhere you look, people are announcing exciting things and being like, oh my God, this next season of the show. Or it's even like things that I don't even want to be doing. It's like a fucking pilot is like, I have an exciting thing happening. And I'm like, oh, all of a sudden I like want to be a pilot. It knows no bounds, that jealousy. You know what I mean? Like it's like, it just makes you, it can affect like your whole day. You know what I mean? It just makes you feel like, oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm not on the right path. I don't have anything exciting coming up. So like it makes you like this green jealous monster.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, I used to have to just, mute or unfollow some people when I felt like I was struggling to figure out what was going on. But I still do it. I'm sure you still do it.
Right,
like you still have this thing, even if you've achieved so much and you're like, I'm doing great. Everything's going so well. I've achieved so much. You still see someone else and you're like, well, maybe I want that. Or I should have that. Or I should be doing that. I'm not doing enough. And you just kind of can go down in this spiral.
Even if you had something exciting 2 days before and then it's just like this person has something exciting today, you're like, fuck. It's just like, I don't know why. And I know better and I know the background. Like I know it's a marketing tactic. I know all the things. But when I actually see it, my stomach drops without fail every time.
Of course you know better. And, one of my favorite things I've ever read in a book about, what your mind tells you is like, just because your mind's telling you something doesn't make it true.
Right.
And just because you're watching somebody be happy doesn't mean they're happy. And how many people do we see look like they have the best relationship in the whole world on Instagram? They break up a week later.
100%.
None of it is necessarily true, but even all that good, healthy self-talk doesn't help all the time. And this weekend, Ashley was at this wedding with a lot of our friends and I was at the park by myself, babysitting a black pug. And there was this group of people next to me and they had just gotten engaged. So I guess I was really eavesdropping pretty hard. And they had all these people come. There was this big picnic in the park and they had maybe 8 other couples come. It was this giant group of people all having fun, all celebrating this engagement. Ashley's at a wedding and I'm by myself at the park and I was like so bummed and I was like, I have no friends.
Right.
I'm all by myself. And I had to be like, all right, Raina, relax. You have tons of friends. Everything's fine. You're having a great day.
You have to recalibrate, but it's really crazy because your brain can go from 0 to 100 so quickly. Like you can go from thinking everything's fine to like, Mayday, I have the worst life ever. Like my career sucks. I'm horrible at my job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In 0.2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like it's wild. Like it's unhealthy. And I always what I'm really working on these days is like that old saying that like, someone else's beauty is not the absence of your own. Like I'm truly just trying to be. And it's like it's so lame. Like,
no, it's not. Someone else's success does not make you less successful.
Right.
Well, I mean, I do a lot of there's enough to go around.
Right.
Like her success is my success. Nikki says this. Nikki Glazer is so open about all of her struggles and mental health and things like that, and like the jealousy that she feels towards like if she sees another female comic doing something. She's like they're prettier than me and they're going to be better than me and they're going to be bigger than me. And she's like, what I do is I redirect it and I like compliment them or I tell people to watch their special.
Right.
So I think when I feel that tinge of jealousy, I'm like, this is better for all of us. Because it's usually women. It's like I don't really compare myself to men. Or, I don't know. Like we're in a different space. So
I don't care about them.
Yes, the rising tide boats thing.
Like all shit, whatever.
It's self-talk. Like
no, but it's like
you have to tell yourself these things.
And I wish I had to do less of it, but I truly have to like sit my ass down and be like, tell myself over and over and over and over again. Because I think Instagram can make, and like social media in general, makes the world seem so small.
Yeah.
So it really does feel like there isn't room for everyone. There isn't.
Yeah.
And you have like a scarcity mindset. And you're like, oh my God, what am I, like everyone's looking at me and everyone knows that I'm failing in the X, Y, and Z. And like, I wish I had more of a grasp on it than I do. And it sucks, but I'm like, and I'm happy for those people. Sure. Happy for them. No, but I really get so jealous and I get like so, not even just jealous. Like I wish badly upon them. It's more so like my self-talk.
Yeah.
I turn into the devil. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I become like the meanest person to myself ever.
Yeah, well, you have to do things to prove to yourself those things aren't true, right? So I was sitting in the park alone. I was like, I have no friends. I'm so sad today. And I called my best friend and I went to his place with the dog. And other things, I mean, Ashley and I say it all the time, can't say it enough, make a list. So if you're like, this person's so successful, make a list of your successes. And if you have to do that every day, if that's your affirmations and your mantras and you say it in the mirror, you've talked to me about like doing mantras and affirmations in the mirror, whatever you have to do to like tell your brain that what you were thinking is not
in the mirror.
true.
I just want to, which is nothing wrong with that. Okay. But
no, I could never get into that either.
I do it. I do self-talk, but I'm off.
The mirror, I can't do.
But also I love a mirror affirmation. It's very like Issa Rae and insecure.
Yeah, I cannot do the mirror affirmations. Like that's just like, I cannot. I will start talking even worse.
It's literally no judgment. I just wanted to clear it up because
yeah, that is defamatory.
I know I didn't.
no, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I picture Issa Rae like wrapping herself in Insecure. I really try to go down this path of like, when it's women, it's so good for all of us. Like we're going to dominate. We're taking over. Like
100%.
Again, this is just the self-talk I have to do when I feel that feeling is like, it's better than men. You know, like I kind of just have to spin it and that like, we're killing it collectively. I know her. I'm friends with her.
Totally.
You know?
I heard something that like, I'm not going to butcher this, but it said something like, if someone's doing something that like you really wanted to do or like has an opportunity that you wish you had, it means like the vibration is getting closer to you in a way. And also I do agree with what you said. Like my first reaction is obviously to shit talk myself for 20 minutes, but then you have to call someone. You have to like call someone who's not in your frame of mind, like, and just be like, because you're not seeing yourself the way that anyone else is seeing you. It's like if you get fired and you think everyone's looking at you, everyone gives a fuck that you got fired. Like no one's looking at you, no one gives a shit, no one's even thinking about you. It's even worse. Like truly, no one's even thinking about you.
You're the only one that's thinking about you,
right? So it's like, but it's also important to have a friend that you can be like, listen, like I need 5 minutes of like you gassing me up, or like just to be like, you know, because they might be like, oh my god, and all my friends and I talk about like how well you're doing, and I'm like, because you just like you get into this hole, and like the only thing that can pull you out is like having a different perspective, I think.
Yeah, and I like so much what you said, and it's easy for me to look at other podcast duos, for example, and be like, they're on tour, their show's so big, they had these guests, they're doing so great, I love their studio, and what Ashley and I have done that I definitely got from Nikki Glazer also is just like to hype those people. We've become friends with all those girls. We've had them on our show. We've promoted their shows. We've gone on theirs. And I feel like being friends with all those people and surrounding ourselves with people, they're doing a great job. They might be doing stuff better than us, has made my life better.
We've seen people that have decided not to do that and have taken the low road, the jealous road, the shit talking road of people that they think are treading on their turf, and they don't do well. Like I'm thinking of a particular 100%. Example where I'm like, innately you kind of want to. You're kind of like, oh, they're not as good as us, and they're but yada yada. But it's like it doesn't really work long term. No. I guess it can, but it really is more of the good collective energy, the supporting other people that kind of 100% makes you rise to the top. At least
I do feel like this was a ploy for me to use my dad's quote. This was a plan all along about the horse with it.
We also haven't talked about who your dad is.
No,
it's fine.
No, but this is like why you have to have your blinders on, because truly it will, like if you look at another horse, like you will trip up, you will fall. Like you cannot do your best work while you're looking to the left and right of you. You can't.
Yeah. Well, 100%. Let's back up and talk about your dad. Okay. So, and I feel like we talked about this in your podcast. Yeah. And again, your dad is Jimmy Iovine, and the Defiant Ones is my favorite docuseries. It's four-part documentary, and he has the quote about, this is why horses wear blinders, so they don't trip up and look at the horses on the side of them. And then what recently Kim Kardashian quoted him. Right. And did she quote him?
Yeah, she got all the
did she just say, I heard this somewhere?
Yeah.
And then now the quote's like being attributed to her, and we need to make sure no one thinks.
Set the record straight. I mean, that's actually only why I'm here. It's just so we can purely set the record straight.
Jade's like, I don't even like you guys.
You could be in their family. You're like giving Kendall.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh my God.
Are you not? It's like, is that Kendall Jenner?
Thank you so much.
But it stuck with me forever. I mean, the scene itself, then it goes into 50 Cent, like he's hanging upside down. He's going, because your dad is going like, you just have to go. And then 50's like, go shorty. It's your birthday.
I've been crying. Like literally forced to watch this 15,000 times, but you know it better than I do. It's like actually unbelievable.
No, we loved it. It's incredible. Like when we talk about doing reality TV, like we're always like, we don't want that. We want like a docu-series like the Defiant Ones on HBO. That's what we want. Yes. Like that's 100%. What we tell people.
No, I was talking to him about it the other day, because like before, when I was growing up, he didn't really get recognized. Like it was a very niche community that he would like be.
He's behind the scenes guy.
Very much so. So now it's like constant, like people come up to him all the time just because of that documentary. Like it's truly the best documentary I think maybe ever
made. Yes. If someone hasn't seen it or hasn't heard of it, which weird, but like I'm excited to tell them about it, but I'm also like, can we be friends?
Right.
Like,
No,
why?
truly.
But I think a lot of people, whatever, it's not important, but this is kind of a weird transition.
Yeah.
And we can not do it if you want,
No,
but
I
you
don't
have
care.
been talking about reparenting.
Yes. No, 100%. As you can imagine, I need tremendous amount.
I don't know. I remembered that we wanted to discuss this.
So if
Yes.
you guys want to watch the documentary, it's on HBO. It's called The
And you
Defiant
can
One.
witness my childhood trauma.
Yeah,
from it.
and then watch that, and then come back and listen to.
Are you
Jade
in it
talk
at all?
about
Is there any like
Yeah.
old footage?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, a lot.
I need to
Baby
rewatch it.
Yeah.
It's been years. I watched it in my old apartment.
Should we hang out?
Oh my God. Like, let's just turn it on right now. Yes.
Ashley and I joke that we don't actually hang out. We see each other like 6 days a week.
No, that's true. Like, I bet you don't. Like, don't you feel like inclined to just pick up a mic when you guys are hanging out?
Right. Well, we did. Sometimes stuff will happen and we're like, God, we should have got that on,
Right.
on camera. But we
Content.
hung out and we watched The Bachelor recently. It was so weird. We were like on my couch, like having wine. I was like, this is so bizarre.
She actually cooked like a whole dinner with her back to me while I like filtered on all this gossip, and it was just like being at home by myself. And then we got into bed together like the following week, watched another Bachelor at a hotel. I wasn't just like coming over to get in bed with her. But anyways, let's talk about your thoughts on reparenting because you did an episode about it.
Yeah.
And like what it is
Yeah.
for people that are like, what?
Yeah, like what the fuck? Okay, no, so basically, reparenting is like the concept, at least to me, I'm not a therapist. My sister is, I'm not a therapist. But it's something that I've been working on in my own therapy. And like when we talked about my dark time, it was something that really helped me get out of it. But basically, it's the concept to me is acknowledging the deficits in your childhood, the deficiencies in your childhood, the things that you didn't get, whether that be, there's a list of them, but I think it's like, you know, the ability to regulate your emotions, joy, nurture, you know, like all these different things that maybe your parents weren't equipped enough to give you, because, you know, we're all raised by traumatized people and then they traumatize us, you know? So it's really like realizing the things that you didn't have, and not a like victimized way, not a way of being like, oh, and I'll never be able to love someone else because I wasn't loved as a child, X, Y, and Z. I keep saying X, Y, and Z. Just fuck me. Anyway.
It's your new saying.
Yeah, I guess
fuck
so,
you after
today,
we wrap.
As
Okay.
of today. So it's like, you know, recognizing the things that you didn't get, but also realizing that you have the ability to give that to yourself as an adult. I think that a lot of people have this misconception that after childhood, the drawbridge closes, like on your 18th birthday, and it's like everything crystallizes and it's solidified, and all the damage that was done to you and all the trauma you suffered is like, just, okay, well, go on for the rest of your life and be that person, because there's nothing you can do. You can't rewrite your childhood, despite how much we probably wish we could in a lot of ways. But basically, reparenting, there's a lot of incredible books about it, and there's like a lot of different methods to go about it. But it's kind of taking the keys back and being like, okay, I didn't receive this as a child. Okay, great. You know, make peace. And I struggle with this as an adult. Like maybe it's discipline. Like discipline wasn't big in your household. So now you struggle with discipline. And it's like, okay, maybe I'll start to keep one promise to myself a day. Maybe I'll start by, the shitty thing about it is that your inner child will throw a tantrum inevitably. They will. It'll be like, what the fuck? Like I was, you know, like we've been going our whole lives without this. Like I don't want to do that. I don't want to.
I shouldn't have to.
Right. What I do is, it sounds so stupid to say it out loud, but like discipline has been a big one for me. But it's also like talking to myself in a nurturing way, which feels weird at first. Like it's even saying things like, honey, sweetheart, Jade, whatever your thing is to yourself, being like, I know you don't want to do this right now, but we have to do, like, just like how you wish like the healthiest of parents that no one really has in real life would handle you. And it's like, it's been in such an incredible journey for me, because I have this partner now and I want to have kids and whatever. And, you know, I don't think you can make someone feel safe or feel loved without the ability to give that to yourself first. So it's kind of like, what were my deficiencies in childhood, and what were my parents not able to give me, and how do I give that to myself now?
I love all of this, and thank you for sharing. And we've recently did an episode with Lori Gottlieb.
Yeah, she's
about,
amazing.
kind of about the theme of that was more like you can't redo your childhood,
Right.
and how to kind of have a relationship with your parents if you have a lot of that like resentment of the things that you
Yes.
didn't get. But I love this angle of it too, of like, I love this metaphor of the drawbridge is not closed. You're not
Right.
crystallized in this person.
I think so many therapists are also like trained to only focus on the ways that your parents fucked you up. And I remember thinking like, I'm so sick of just talking about like all the ways that my parents fucked up. And like, because it made me feel so disempowered. I just felt like I was left with this lump of trauma and shit, and that there was nothing I could do about it except for talk about it every week in therapy. And then when I was actually given these actionable ways to overcome some of those deficiencies that I have in myself, you know, like my ability to regulate my emotions, like if I had neglected my childhood, you know, like certain things like that, you like a lot of people just think like that's my past, and you feel resentful because of the things that you don't like about yourself today. And like this reparenting concept is like, I want to scream it from the rooftops because it's such a way to get the keys back and to take the power back and be like, okay, I can actually be all of those things to myself. I can mother, father, parent myself in the way that I wish I had been when I was a child. And like, you really do start to see the benefits, and like it starts to work, you know, and it's hard to connect with your inner child. You know, it's hard to be like, because I think a lot of us just push her or him behind, and we're like, okay, we don't want to pay attention because that person's in so much pain. But once you start to open that dialogue with that person and be like, what do you need? And indulge yourself in a way that adults aren't indulged, you know, but do that for yourself. It's like the most liberating feeling in the world.
Yeah, and you don't have to wait until you have children to do this. I think a lot of people are like, know they have that trauma, but they're like waiting to redo it until they have their own family. And some people don't want to have children, like myself, and a lot of other people, but you don't have to wait. You can do this. You
shouldn't wait.
Yeah.
You know?
And I know some people feel like weird or uncomfortable or awkward about it in self-talk in general. Yeah. And people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, reparent my inner child, you know, but this is the ways out, the ways to help.
And there's little ways, you know, like there's little things like decorating your house in a way that like makes you happy, that might not be like the Instagram aesthetic of like minimal neutral tones. You know what I mean? It might be having a pink couch. It might be like there are like a lot of little ways that maybe don't feel as stupid to you as like other ways. Like if you have trouble like just talking to yourself in baby talk, which can be extremely uncomfortable, like you can do other things that can also satisfy those needs.
And I don't know if this is relatable to you or helpful, but you know, for me, I got caught in this loop for so many years of needing to be validated on what I went through, and needing my parents to say like, I know I did this to you, and I know I fucked you up in this way, and wanting to hold up a mirror and say like, you did this, and I need you to acknowledge this. And I was caught in this loop for so many years of needing to like say to my mom, like, I need you to validate that you did this. And when I let that go, and I was like, it doesn't matter. Like we can just move past this, and I, like you said, can address these things for myself or with the parent if you really want to. It was helpful for me. It was very freeing to say to myself, like, I don't necessarily need this validation. I'm probably not going to get it. That's okay.
Right. Because I just found myself at one point, like in therapy, just circling the toilet, but just being like, oh my God, we're just talking about this shit again, and how I'm not able to like have this aspect of my life because I didn't have this in childhood. And it just felt like, God, okay, like, can we just focus on the future now? Let's heal the future. And like but the truth is you can't really heal the future without healing the past. So it's like, recognize where there were holes in your childhood, you know, and then be like, okay, how do I actively give those to myself on a daily basis now?
I love that. And just in general, a theme of this podcast is always like, you should be in charge of your own life. Like you said, like you have the keys. You don't have to rely or force someone else to give this to you. You can give it to yourself.
100%.
Yeah. Maybe just in closing, do you have any like books that you love on this, or anxiety, depression, anything that you like really love?
Yeah. There's a book called Us. I think it's Terrence Real, I think, wrote it. Did you say you bought it? Someone told me about it. Bruce Springsteen actually wrote the foreword of it. Randomly, he has so much to say about reparenting.
Okay.
You wouldn't expect that, but Bruce Springsteen really is like a scholar on reparenting. So he wrote the foreword to this book, and it's wonderful. It's called Us. So if you are interested in reparenting, I would definitely read that.
Okay. Great.
And watch the Defiant Ones.
And watch the Defiant. Oh, and maybe listen to my podcast.
Yes. No, we're going to do all that.
I forgot about that.
Sorry. Well, Jade, this was a like really beautiful episode about like mental health.
Thank you guys.
And thank you for just your honesty. And I think a lot of people will relate to it. This is really beautiful. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
And please
come
tell
to
people.
LA, baby.
We live there now. Please tell people where they can find everything about you.
So I'm at Jade Iovine on Instagram. I'm like figuring out TikTok, and we'll get there eventually.
Same.
And I'm a fossil. It's fine. And it's an iHeartRadio podcast, but new episodes wherever you get your podcasts every Tuesday. It's called Tell Me About It.
And you guys know where to find everything that we do, vibesonly.com, and the Vibes Only app is on iPhone and Android. And you can, of course, shop at vibesonly.com. Girls Gotta Eat Podcast.com. You can get tickets to the live show there. Follow us at Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on Instagram. I am Ash Hess on everything. Raina is Raina.Greenberg. Girls_Gotta Eat on Twitter. And we will see you next week.
Killed it. Have a good week, guys.
Bye.